always want to do is make sure that your client's hand, as well as your own, is properly sanitized. The next thing we're going to do is grab a cuticle pusher and push back her cuticles. So now I'm going to grab my e-file and I'm going to lightly buff the top of her nail with an arbor band. This is a very fine grit, so it's not as damaging to the nail. You can also use a hand file for this. So now that we're done prepping the nail plate, I'm going to apply pH bond. After that's dried, we're going to go ahead and apply our primer. For this look, I'm going to be using a form, so I'm going to go ahead and place that on her nail. So you want to go ahead and pinch that closed when you get it where you want it. Your form's going to come on a little white paper like this. We're going to need this for today's look, so make sure you go ahead and hang on to this. For today's look, we are going to be using #NoFilter from the Color Blend collection. The first bead I'm going to place is at the end of the free edge, and I'm going to sculpt it to a point. Now I'm going to pick up a bead and cover the nail bed. So after your acrylic sets for a little bit and you can tell it's not that sticky, now's the perfect time to pinch. So now we're going to go ahead and see if this nail is dry. And it is, so now it's time for filing. I'm going to remove the form by pulling the tabs down and pinching in the middle. And there we go. So now I'm going to grab my hand file and straighten up the sidewalls. Now I'm going to grab my e-file and clean around the cuticle and smooth the surface of the nail. So now we're going to grab that piece of paper that our nail form was on, and we're going to use this to cover her finger. We're going to be sculpting backwards onto her finger. So you want to measure out where you're going to put it, and for this design, the end of it is going to attach to the acrylic enhancement that we already put down. So I want to wrap this around her finger. And I see that I have a lot of excess here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. For this design, I'm going to be using a size 4 sculpting brush. I like this brush because it has a really fine point and it gives me a lot of detail in my sculptures. So to begin sculpting my design, I'm going to start off with the head and the body. Now we're going to work on the tail, and I'm going to start from the lowest feather and work my way up. In doing this, you get a very beautiful layered effect and it gives more dimension to the design. So now I'm going to add little anchors on the side. This is just going to add to the design so that it can wrap around the finger. Now I'm going to add a little accent to the head, and this is going to be a little feather. So now we wait for this to dry before we move on to our next step. Now that this is dry, I'm going to go ahead and remove the paper from underneath the design. You want to start by taking off all the tape that you have put on the paper, and then we are going to slowly push the paper away from our design and then slide it out from the top. Now that I'm done with the design, I'm going to be coloring the nail with pixie dust. You want to be careful when applying this. You don't want to apply your nail color to your design. I'm going to apply this polish very thin and then brush off any excess glitter that I don't want. I want a very translucent look, and because these polishes are so pigmented, I'm going to have to brush off some of the excess. Before I move on to my peacock, I'm going to go ahead and cure that. So after I apply the color to our design, I'm going to go in with my favorite top coat, and this is Kiara Sky Non-Wipe Top Coat. I'm going to apply this to the entire design and nail. And before I cure it, I'm going to add some stones. So now we're going to go ahead and cure that for 60 seconds. Well, I had so much fun doing this design with you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this design in the comments below. Would you wear this? If you guys have any questions, don't forget to leave those down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! start off, I've already extended her natural nail and I've built the foundation with natural dip powder. For today's look, I'm going to be using Route 66. This color is from the 2018 summer collection. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate the jar to make sure that all the color is evenly dispersed. And then I'm going to get it ready for my model's finger. For my first coat of color, I'm going to apply it a little ways away from the cuticle because I don't want to add unnecessary bulk around the cuticle area. For my second coat, I want to make sure that I cover the entire nail. So now that I'm done with my 2 layers of color powder, I'm going to encapsulate this with a layer of clear. So now that I'm done with all my layers of dip powder, I'm going to grab number 3, Seal Protect, and this is going to make the layers of dip powder harden. You want to apply this to the entire nail. Now we're going to check to see if this nail is dry, and it sounds good, so I'm going to go ahead with my hand file and shape the free edge. So now I'm going to go in with my e-file and I'm going to smooth out the top of the nail. So before we move on to the next step of our design, I'm going to grab my favorite top coat. This is Kiara Sky's non-wipe top coat, and I'm going to apply this to the entire nail. Now we're going to go ahead and cure that for 60 seconds. So now I'm going to grab a hairpin and I'm going to take these little rubber thingies off. Now we're going to attach the pin to the sides of the nail using nail adhesive. So now you're going to grab your striping tape in your favorite color and we're going to start wrapping the pin in a crisscross design. So now to hold these edges down, I'm going to grab a little bit more adhesive and I'm going to tuck down the edges. Then I'm going to go ahead and trim off the excess striping tape. So now I'm going to use a gel top coat to adhere my crystals. You can use any top coat or adhesive that you like, as long as it keeps the crystals adhered to the nail. So now to finish off this nail, I'm going to apply Nourish oil to her cuticle area and I'm going to massage that in. Well, there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!